All righty, till we get rolling.
I'm ready to roll. All right, well, let me get
Give it a moment.
adjusted back here with a little more length on myself. And I want to begin this morning by by going through more briefly again the things that we did last week with our arms and hands. And that's not only a quick review, but it is also a preparatory work for the weightlessness and ease of our arms and hands, because we'll be doing things that involve swinging those arms. And I want them to be passive ropes, just hanging things. So shaking out the tension that interrupts that free swing through the pendulum of gravity, I want to prepare us for. So let me begin with the hands. Sorry, let me begin with just standing here and letting gravity have my arms. And as I put this thought in my mind about just free hanging arms, as little effort as I can possibly produce, I can feel the weight of those arms pulling downward on the fibers of my trapezius on both sides, opening up that neck, opening up that upper shoulder. I can change the angle of that hang so there's a little emphasis on this arm and a little emphasis on the weight of this arm as it just feels gravity's pull. And this is the beginning of coming into our bodies and coming into the medium in which we are obliged to live every moment of every day. Finding myself in that gravitational field, arranging myself, softening myself so that gravity is dropping through my structure the way my structure has been designed. And now I want to pick a hand and just start a very gentle kind of making my fingers shake, my thumbs shake, my wrist move lightly. And in this little shake, I am generating movement in the tissues of my hand and my wrist, and even up into my lower arm. And these little nudges through tossing my hand about in gravity, letting all the muscles be passive, is beginning to send a stream of sensory information coming from that hand and that wrist and that forearm. We don't feel ourselves very much until something's moving, because it's the moving that excites the nerve ends that are invested in all that tissue. So a hand in delicate motion, searching motion, questioning motion. What is freer than that? And as my hand and wrist begin to free up, can I find the weight of a thumb? Can I find the weight of fingers? And in that stream of sensory information, I am initiating how much detail can I feel in that hand? Searching for all those separate little bones. There are 27 of them in your hand. Using your exploration and your own spontaneous creativity in these movements to search out the bones of the hand. And just that thought, looking for that bone movement, frees up my bones. It is all in our intention, and our intention is softness and light, floppy, jiggly rhythms and paying attention to that stream of sensation that is generated. I'm going to bring this hand up into a little down flop, lengthening all these muscles on the top of my arm. And through the back of my hand, through the top part of my dorsal region here. I'm going to turn that hand around and do the down flop with palm up, putting those little micro split-second tugs through all these fibers in the underside of my forearm. And don't just monkey see, monkey do, but anything that speaks to you from your mind, from your searching, go with it. Let's remember this lovely carpal bounce opening that I had. I want you to see a little more clearly on my hands. I have my index finger right across this basket of bones here. I have my thumb right in the carpal tunnel region so that my fingertip here and my thumb tip here would meet if my hand weren't in the way. And I'm going to use this arm to flop this wrist. Feel the weight of your fingers give that little snap and snap as this motion goes back and forth. And that weight of the fingers and that light, effortless little snap is opening space through this all-important and complex part of our wrist. I can do that side to side. And oh boy, here I go. I've got a little helicopter going. I'm liking that. And release that effort in your arms and just come back to gravity. Feel the difference in those two hands. Feel the difference in that forearm. And in the chat box, you can keep us informed of what shifts and differences and expansiveness and feeling, champagne bubbles, warmth, zing, somebody said last week. And I want you to see how much lower this arm I've been working with is hanging. My fingertips here on my thigh. Look how much lower on my thigh the fingertips are that I have been playing with. And then let's bring that up into our lovely little forearm bounces. This you might find a little tricky and a little focus, because what I'm using is quick little twitches from my bicep, tricep to free up and just bounce like water balloons this tissue in my forearm. There I go. And let that effort in the upper arm go. And then we will come to this little tricep bounce. That's a little twitch I'm putting through my rotator cuff muscle. So to slow it down, I'm doing this. But that becomes a quicker little bouncy back and forth, freeing up all this tricep tissue. And this has been some effort holding my arm up here. So let that effort go. Let the arm just swing like a rope, accentuating that surrender to gravity. And I spoke last week of one of the primary little tricks of all these movements is however you use muscular effort to raise, lower, do all the things we're doing, to practice that instant of just flop and wait and